Because I had went to an event through the Illinois Family Institute, and they had some statistics on the dropping of the proficiency levels in the whole state of Illinois. And when I saw that in 2019 that we graduated 80% of our students, but the reading and writing proficiency was only at like 12%. And then the math proficiency was at like 6%. And to me, that told me that we as citizens of Decatur are failing our children. We're setting them up to fail. And I think that it hit my heart because my daughter moved out of the state of Illinois and took my grandchildren because of the public school systems here. So if she was that concerned that her children were being failing and took them to another state where they are now thriving, that tells me we need to do something locally so we can continue to keep families in Decatur. Getting our proficiency rates up. If we're going to graduate 80% of our students, I would like to see our proficiency rate, 60, 70% all the way across the board. I mean, this graduating 80% and having 6% that can read and write and do math, that's pathetic. I mean, sorry, but I feel sorry for the children in the Decatur school systems. And I don't think there's enough people out there speaking up for them or giving them a voice. So I want to give them a voice. Well, I can use I have twin granddaughters, and one had an IEP because she was a little bit more delayed than the other. And the problem with the IEP was that she was in the 4th grade when she moved out of state, and she was only reading at a 1st grade level. So, but yet the other twin was reading just fine. So she was being pulled out of the classes at the critical time when she needed to learn. But on the flip side of this, the way the school district does it where she's at now, they don't stop her from being in a classroom with her peers. They push her to be in a classroom with her peers, but they have teachers that they have hired to go into these classrooms. And the children that are struggling, the teachers don't point them out in front of everybody, but they just kind of nudge them. They're there to nudge them. They're an extra help for the teacher because the teachers are over. There's not enough teachers for the students. So if we can maybe get some extra teachers in there that just want to help with the kids that are struggling a little bit, to where the kids because they get bullied, and I understand that, so they don't want to let anybody know they're struggling. So maybe if we can do something like that where maybe they can get some extra teachers to help with these particular situations where the children are struggling, to where the other kids don't actually know that that's what that teacher is doing. Or another program that the school has is they have after school reading lab, math lab, and these are all done by teachers who volunteer their time to make sure that these students are where they need to be. And if a student feels like they're struggling, they can go to their teacher and say, I would like to get in the after school math program or reading program. And a lot of these volunteers are students, teaching, students in college that are trying to become a teacher. They volunteer their time to help. A lot of this is happening in some schools. I can't say here in Decatur, but I do know in some of the schools that these kids are getting these weapons or whatever into the schools, or people are bringing them in. It's because the school system is failing the children. They fear that they're not going to be able to succeed and become a productive part of society. So they start getting at a young age this in their heads that, I'm already doing bad, nobody's going to help me, so I might as well start doing something that I know that even if I get out of school, I can feed myself, And sometimes it's not the right thing, sometimes it's a gang, or sometimes it becomes criminal. but we really can't, I think if we can get the children to where they feel that they can be somebody, that would also help with what's going on in the society. I'm not real familiar with what exactly. I do think that parents need to get more involved in their children's educations. And I know that's hard because we have a lot of single parent households. And the problem with that is that's why I think we need to enable these extra, get volunteers to come in and help these students, especially the ones that come from the single family homes. Because, the mother or the single mom or the single dad, they're out working, trying to make sure that they can keep a roof, food in their kid's mouth, and sometimes the kid's homework or something slips through the cracks, But the thing that I think upsets me the most about society is when a child is failing, they blame the parents. I'm sorry, I blame the parents, I blame the teachers, and I blame myself, because I'm the one, and everybody who votes, we're the ones that have voted these people in to be on the school board. And if we're voting in people that don't really care that our proficiency levels are this low, then we also are failing our children. Well, I would just like to see all schools nationwide, but mostly here in Illinois, get back to the basics. Let's teach the children reading, writing, arithmetic, and make sure that they are proficient at it. Make sure that they understand it. And if they don't, we need to do whatever it takes to make sure, because if a child can't read, a child can't write, they can't get a job because they can't read or write or fill out an application. If they can't do basic math, they can't get a job, because most jobs you have to do some type of basic math. So my big thing, if I was to get on the school board, would be to push reading, writing, and arithmetic, and let's get our proficiency levels up. I mean, I'm not saying that we have to have 100% proficiency, but when we graduate 80% and only 6% can do math, that needs to be at least 60, 70% for me to be satisfied that we are educating the children of Decatur.